Hmm. All right. Let's get started. Okay, what do I want for light? I guess above. Also, hello everybody. I'm gonna do a bit of a mixed stream today where I'm gonna do some illustration block out for my novel Letters to the Vampire Queen, and then I'm gonna probably do some uh, Batwoman cover progress, because I gotta finish that as well. Hey Nicola. Yeah, I've been streaming for the last few days on Picarto for the reasons of explicit material. So I had to focus on that platform for a bit. I still have some more of that to finish, but I find it that I'm most productive if I'm multitasking in different moods and different genres, so that once you get your fill of one thing, then you jump to the next and keeps things fresh. How dare you curse at me like that, dude? Mods, remove this man. Wait, I should have done like a double clap, like, be gone. You're not seeing me even announce my Picarto stream. You don't see me announce any of my streams. Like I announce a stream once every planetary alignment. It's not just the furry community there. It's just generally, how do I put this? The sexually uninhibited community. That's where we go to stream smutty art. But no, not even that. Like it's one of those things where it's like it's the only platform that allows you to draw anything mature. While stream drawing anything mature, because it is the scariest thing in the universe. Yeah, it happens. You know how it is with these sites. Try and follow anybody on YouTube and see where that takes you. Fucking hell. I was like, oh, hey, yeah, no, I hit follow. Yes, but did you hit follow, hit the bell, do a dance with the moonlight, and sacrifice 3 goats? No? You missed that final part? Damn it. You have a question for me. With so much time as an artist, how do I determine when to delete or correct a mistake and when to use that mistake to do something better? It really comes down to whether or not the mistake kind of looks good and opens up a new path. But generally, when I make a mistake, I will just gonna hit one of these, No, wrong one. This one. I'm just gonna, gonna liquefy it into place. Because like, this is liquefy is basically one of the best things about digital art, where you don't have to delete a thing. You can just kind of nudge it. Can't do that in traditional art, so in traditional art I would just usually whip out my white acrylic or some neutral tone acrylic with high coverage, cover it up, and start again. Hey, Henke. Yes, dude, but here's what I do, right? I teach you to teach yourself. Somebody pay me for that. No, nobody fucking pay me for that. Fuck that. But you know that somebody would be like, this is brilliant. People should pay me for that. But yeah, that's literally what I do. Technically, since I was self-taught, that's all I can teach you is to, self-teach your way through shit. I don't prompt though. Believe it or not, I've never in my life used any of these AI things, be it freaking AI search engines, AI fucking generators, nothing. It just, the whole thing just skeeves me out, so I just don't. Just find it so unpleasantly intrusive. I am an old school kind of a guy, and I think I'm gonna remain that. Yeah, like I don't blame people for kind of trying it out for the sense of for the novelty of it all, but like I don't know, it just keeps me out. Man, it's kind of crazy how much fun I'm having with this novel. It's an endless struggle as well, because it's one of those things like it's a pain in the ass sometimes to write very human characters in comics, but in novel where you have the where you have the space to do it even more. Jesus Christ, herding cats doesn't even begin to describe it. It's like, I have a plan, character. I outgrew that plan. Sorry, buddy. Oh, thank you, Linky. Glad you liked it. There's a lot more coming because Sunstone is a 20-book series, and I'm just now working on book 9, so you know. Oh, I'm actually obsessed with this thing. The only reason why it's not already done is basically just because I have so many things at the same time. Plus, it's one of those things where it's like it started as a very kind of just a simple idea, but you know, it turns out when you're working on fantasy stuff, the world building kind of becomes very important, and it's been a fun challenge to kind of figure out how to do world building without it just being, you know, info dumps, but just kind of going with some fun, creative ways about it. I think this beer. Yeah, they have a bunch of different smiles, but like I'm a big fan of drawing a big green because it's difficult. It's one of those extremely challenging expressions to do right. And the way I figure is the more I do it, the better I get at it. Also, 3D sculpting has taken me a long way along the road of figuring out how to do that right. Because nothing is harder artistically than to properly sculpt facial expressions and convincing body language. Because there, it's like it's basically you drawing it from literally every conceivable angle. Hey, Igor. I am honestly great. A little bit overworked, but not in a way where it's burning me out. Just kind of tired because I've been spamming out work like crazy these days. But honestly, it's my own kind of choosing, so I ain't complaining. Hey, Con. Yeah, I'm just blocking out the block out. It's one of those pieces that's gonna take some time to actually finish, as it's a 3-character piece and have to figure out a lot of nuance, a lot of little details and stuff, but it's gonna be nice when done. Thank you, Chris Fabo. I'm doing fine. Just kind of have a lot of work to finish, so it's kind of one of those. I'm juggling. Thankfully, it's my own work, so I don't really have to stress out much. Well, okay, one of these is not. I still have to do my Batwoman cover. Gotta finish that, but beyond that, I can't complain. Yes. This is book 1 illustration. I gotta focus on doing these because book 1's gonna be done in a month. And then I just need my proofreader to go over it so that I can do tweaks on that. Then maybe perhaps look up an editor for the overall story to just kind of go over it, because you know it's nice to be professional about things. This is the scene where Lysandre goes to pick up Syrah at the House of the Whispering Shadows, Welcoming Shadows, and Syrah is with the Duchess, and the Duchess makes her proposal. That will at some point be finalized with a bonk on the head. Yes, there's gonna be a Kickstarter for the book. I'm gonna basically make it so the Kickstarter is gonna work in a fun little way where the more people join on it, the better the book becomes for everybody, because it's just gonna keep adding more illustrations to it with each tier, and basically each tier that people join up, everybody's book becomes just a better edition. And then the final tier is gonna be also a professionally done audiobook, free for everybody who, because like that, I kind of want to do this crazy thing where I do cumulative for the main actual book. Like there's gonna be some knickknacks and shit that you can get like on the side, but like the actual main book itself is gonna improve for everybody at the same time. So that's gonna be a very kind of a cool little Kickstarter. I don't know about Hollow Knight Kickstarter. I haven't been keeping track on that. Uh, Currently, you can read it on my Patreon, but there's also an audiobook sample on my YouTube, and there's a much larger audiobook sample on my Patreon. Those were from an earlier version of the novel, but it sells the idea pretty well. It's pretty alright. I haven't, but I haven't played a lot of things. I really don't have the time to. That's the problem. Not for the lack of wanting to, but it's kind of a choice, you know. Either I make my own stuff or I spend my time enjoying stuff that others have made. And at the end of the day, my choice more often than not, has to be I focus on my own thing. And I have zero regrets for that, about that. Are there going to be major changes to the final book one? I wouldn't say not from what's been shown so far. Most of that is going to be just basically on some points a little bit elaborated, expanded, or trimmed down, depending on just to improve the flow of things. But generally, it's going to remain similar. But still, the final version is going to be much better. That is awesome. Oops. Uh, there's gonna be an update to both Sunstone and Crimson. The only one that's not getting updated is Death Vigil, and that's mostly because I want to stockpile the last few updates and drop them all as one, just for the sheer reading fun. Because like some things, is like Sunstone right now, it's very easy to just kind of have standard monthly things because the pacing works with that. But Death Vigil, the final parts here are just very kind of uh, intensely paced series of events that are just gonna read better as a whole thing. It's awesome how at this point, when I say there's not gonna be an update for a few months, people already know. It's like, yeah, no, we know you're working. It's fine. It's like nobody's ever like, oh, he's lazy. He's not doing. It's like, no, 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 he cooking. I love that we've gotten to that point, where people actually know me. How does one find their art style? Best way is to just try and learn how to draw standardly realistically, and then the more you do it, the faster you do it, the more your own artistic handwriting slips into it, and you define a system of mistakes that look good and you choose to keep them. That's how an art style is created in general. Yeah. Usually people will tell you, oh, well, you find the art style that inspires you and then kind of try and work off of that. And, you can do that. But at the end of the day, it's a search. You, nobody can tell you exactly how you're going to find one. It's just trial and error. Like there's a bunch of decent advice for that. Because again, it works if you look at, you can look at a manga style and start off from that obsessively trying to refine it and do something with that, and it works for you. Or it doesn't, and that's the problem. At the end of the day, working with another person's art style for a long time, you know, it can make you master it, or it can make you feel for all of the time that you're writing with another person's handwriting. And that's what happened to me when I started working in comics. My whole shtick was basically I was going to make a sort of an amalgamated style of Alex Ross and Mark Silvestri and Michael Turner, right? And it worked until it all fell apart because you can only spend so much time focusing on drawing as somebody else, something that's not really yours. So my advice is pick a path that you personally like. Understand what you're after in your art style and keep trying. It does get better over time, like everything else. It's a skill set. It's a thing that you grind your way through, and you suck a little less every time. Sometimes you suck a little more, but you know, everything has its bad days. But then you get to the good days, and good days can sometimes turn into great days, and all of a sudden you're progressing. My general advice tends to be like, try and go for a vibe that you're looking for. Are you going for realism? Are you going for stylistic realism? If it's stylistic, like what kind of a style are you trying to achieve? And then try to go with your own natural tendencies while experimenting with styles and seeing what actually feels good to you and what doesn't feel like you're forcing yourself through it, because that's important. Because if you're ever trying to learn art by doing it the way you don't want to, you're gonna kill your own drive to create. Hey, Kevin. Do I use Krita? No. I've not tried Krita yet, haven't had the time. What I'm using is Clip Studio most of the days for the actual illustrations, sometimes a very old Photoshop. Oh, you're welcome. But yeah, that's been something that I've seen back in high school even, where they were trying to teach us how to draw by just constantly drawing chairs and tables, perspective shots. Which, don't get me wrong, perspective is important. But what's more important is for you to want to draw. And nothing kills your desire to draw faster than drawing the most boring items in the universe constantly. Like, are you kidding me? So step one, make sure you're drawing something that you want to draw. Step two, try to make it look the way you want it to. That's as simple as that. The rest is grind. Can't bypass the grind, but it really helps if you're working on something that you want to work on. What'd you say? Yep. Yeah. Yeah, exactly that. If you know what you want to do, it helps. It gives you a sense of direction. And then past that point, you'll master other things. When I started working in 3D and started learning ZBrush, like I knew I wanted to make characters. So I started, and then I started learning the program one step at a time as I was doing it, because I was like, okay, how do I sculpt hair in this program? Look up a tutorial for that. All right, so this is how you can do it. All right, cool, let me try it. You know, it kept me motivated to learn and improve. But if I was, fucking making Blender donuts, so I don't think I would have gone far. It's always about that. When it comes to art, if you if you rob your heart out of it, it's like it's not, you're not gonna progress in it. Like there's no point. Like, oh hey, I want to draw these characters, and I really like them, but it's like, it's like, okay, so here's an anatomy atlas for it. It's like, yeah, okay, now you're gonna do these head head sketches with like constructions and stuff like that. It's like, that's nice. It's also gonna make you not want to draw. So my advice: start drawing some sucky art. And then once you start realizing where it's sucky, that's when you reach for the atlas. That's where you reach. It's a very organic way to learning. Again, that's how I learned 3D. That's how I learned ZBrush. Is I started messing with it. I'm like, okay, here's a sphere, here's a brush that makes shape go up and shape go down. All right, cool. Okay, it's starting to look like something. Okay, but how would I do this? What does this brush do? Okay, let's try it. And then once you hit the brick wall, sometimes you look up for a tutorial, you look up for a pointer, and like, oh, so you can do this also. Oh, cool, let's try it. It keeps enthusiasm in the learning process, because without enthusiasm in the learning process, you are gonna burn out. Without enthusiasm in anything, really, you're gonna burn out, and that's one of those harsh lessons that every artist has to learn sooner or later. Mark, it comes down to this: what do you want to do? Not with your art, like what do you like? Not, what I think would satisfy the needs of this market, that market. No, what do you personally want to draw? Be excellent at that. There's an audience for that. There's an audience for everything. But be excellent at what you want to draw, because that's the only thing that's gonna keep that fire burning and keep you going forward. Speaking as somebody who has burned the fuck out at some point while I was working on stuff that I didn't want to work on anymore, it will fucking cook your brain, and you won't want to draw anymore. So focus on doing exactly what you want to do and nothing else. You love pinups? Fucking be excellent at it. No, you're not excellent at procrastination. You're just bad at motivation. Like that's one of those things where it's like, yeah, if motivate, and like, that's, I don't mean that to be mean. Like, we're all at times bad at motivating ourselves, because motivating yourself is one of the hardest things ever. That's the one where it's like you kind of have to find that energy, that fire that's gonna keep you going. I lost it once completely. Like, there was a time where I was gonna quit comics and everything, and then I returned to the roots of, hey, maybe if I draw something that I know, that I like, that amuses me, that entertains me, and that makes me happy. And I started it, and I sucked at it. The first drawings of Sunstone were just an absolute anatomical mess. It was sloppy, it was sketchy, it was messy. But it was honest, and it was from the heart. And as I kept going, I was like, okay, so I can now, I've started to grasp life within these characters. I'm gonna now try and get better at it. I'm gonna improve on it, and that's what I did. Because the hardest thing is to get out of that loop of procrastination, because to get out of that, you need to know what the fuck you want. And that is a fucking big ask sometimes. What? Yeah, no, I just completely regressed stylistically, went back to the past and just started doing like, okay, I'm just gonna do something that does a decent job at portraying emotional state. Like I want these characters to feel like they're alive because for the last 5 years my stuff looked dead on paper. And then turns out that was the best thing I could have done. Turns out just drawing something that makes you happy is gonna get you everywhere. That's crazy. Um, Listen, I'm not here to make money off of that. You know, I'm not here. I'm not a professional streamer. I'm not a professional YouTuber. I'm not here to bullshit. I'm not here to sell you outrage and crap. Like, if you ask me, I will give you my most honest answer. You know, I won't usually have an opinion on stuff that I don't know anything about. But this I do know because I've always been very honest about one thing. Literally, all of my success is built on an incredible mountain of failure, and failure makes for good rubble for strong foundation. You know, you fuck up enough time, and you learn a few lessons along the way, and then you're like, okay, I know how not to fuck up. You know, it's that whole, took you 100 tries to make it. Took what was it? It was like one of the fucking inventors. Like, oh man, it took him 100 tries until he made a light bulb. It's like, well, it's like it took me, you know, it took me. I learned 100 ways in which not to make a light bulb. Well, that's basically that, you know. Like I've learned many ways in which not to make a comic, in which not to write a character. It's like it's one of those things. It's like it's great when you're capable of learning off of your mistakes. It's even smarter if you can do it off of other people's mistakes. But it is what it is. We are often a very stubborn bunch. I think it's loading. Where are you? Is that on YouTube? Let me see. What? I clicked the wrong thing. No, no, yeah, no, on YouTube it's working. Yeah, it's a little bit delayed, but like. Okay, so what's the question? Maybe different lighting. Always want to do comic strip or a comic. How's the best way to actually start draft? I can tell you how I usually go about comics. It's basically I start doing experimenting with like characters, where I just kind of draw simple panels of characters just kind of talking and doing stuff until the character itself clicks for me. Until I kind of go like, okay, this is somebody who I want to explore further and start doing stuff. Because like the first step is really for you to actually like the character. If you're just kind of trying to make a comic, it's like it's not gonna really take you far. But making a character that you like and figuring out, what's the adventure that this character has, that'll take you places. Took me to way too many places at this point, but that one I can tell you from personal example that it works. There's people who do it differently, but that's been my method for the last what 20 years almost. The question is, how do you overcome that and think more creatively? uh, I can't. Like, I was never big on pinups, but then again, my whole shtick has always been like, what I draw when I draw pinups tends to be mostly the making stuff for BDSM, for Sunstone and stuff like that. So that's very kind of concept heavy on its own. So I always start with a kind of an idea of what I want, you know. But if you're just drawing pinups, it basically comes down to like, are you just trying to draw people, or are you trying to draw characters? Like one of those, like there's an illustrator that did like a whole series basically of pinups based around just a character that he kind of figured out. I think she was like called Mandy or something like that, like some blonde chick, and like he did a whole series of just that character's kind of moment in her life, you know. It's like it's cheesecake pin-up stuff, but it's like it's all of the same character to the point where it's like it became its own thing, right? So that's something that maybe you want to try and explore, kind of find a way of developing a character, then using maybe reference materials to actually put the character in the poses, put the character, you know, render the character and everything, and then elaborate on that. That kind of works sometimes, you know. Sometimes a thing clicks in unexpected ways that way. That's the one I would suggest. Because like even an illustrator is a visual storyteller, you know. It's just that an illustrator spends a lot of time on one picture, while a comic artist has to spend a lot of time on a lot of simpler pictures, simpler, you know, in a way that's like, you know, rendering is simpler. So that might work. Is it mostly getting better at storytelling? Storytelling is a good part. Again, that storytelling goes well with that whole figure out a character and then draw multiple pinups of that. I mean, that's how I got into this whole Sunstone thing. You know, I made 3 illustrations. First one was just some random, you know, red-headed character, then a blonde character, and then I was like, oh, I'm gonna draw this black-haired dominatrix and this red-haired submissive. And though that third picture on that account was what got me going like, I actually kind of like the them visually, you know. So I'm gonna make another drawing. Then I made another one. Then I made another one. And from that, you know, sooner or later they got names. There were little joke strips. And then I made a strip that basically explored how they met, and the rest is history. And while you don't necessarily have to turn it into a comic, having a sort of a comfort character spot where you can come back to and just kind of draw another drawing of that character will do a lot for your creativity, but it's also going to do a lot for your recognizability over time, you know. Like, it's one of those things where it's like, if you get really good at illustration but also have your own character that you have a series of illustrations for, yeah, you kind of have something that makes it recognizable. How do you deal with people who you thought were friends but are filled with envy when you reach to your current mileage through the years of hard work in your own craft? I listen. A long time ago, I've realized that friendships, while wonderful, very rarely last for a lifetime. You know, some people are gonna remain your friends, others won't. Honestly, don't take it too personally. Cherish the friendships that last and just move on from those that don't. You know, if people can't understand that your hard work got you somewhere, if they can't process that, if they can't deal with that, that's a damn issue. At that point, it's like it's not up to you to fix that. So just move on. Oh, thank you, Mark. But still, keep in mind, draw what you like. That's the most important part because like that's that's how you get the fire burning, you know. That fire is gonna keep you warm while drawing even stuff that you're not too interested in, because at some point you're gonna go back to your own fireplace and just kind of go like, well, here's another log. You know, you get warm there. It keeps your sanity going. Yeah. Yep. How long did it take me to get to this level? About 30 years of about 6 to 10 hours of drawing a day every day. I drew a lot. Now, here's the thing. I took the slow scenic route around. I took wrong paths. I was self-taught through most of it. I had to figure shit out as I went. I was one of the original generation of the digital artists, where we were when we got into it, there were no tutorials. We were the ones making them. So I just kind of experimented through all of this stuff, and then there was a whole decade of my work that was basically not entirely wasted time, but a lot of it was because I was trying to do my best to suppress my own artistic instincts and, basically focus on drawing in the way that other people did. So because I was like, oh, I have, in order to succeed, my work needs to look like this person's or that person's. And, it was a dead end that basically made me burn out for the longest time. But yeah, it's been a stupid amount of time, most of it spent failing at it. But then, every now and then I got something good, and then I got better over time. And one of the big things that helped me over time also was I've uh, I've sculpted in like real life before, digital's work. I used to work in uh, like junk material where I would do paper mache and silicones and stuff like that. I would make like monsters, and then I would sculpt in clay. And then I got into 3D sculpting with ZBrush. And 3D sculpting is a very good kind of cheat to speed boost your knowledge of like shapes, of volumes, of light, shadow, all of that, because it's basically forcing you to draw a person from literally every conceivable angle. So, you kind of have to get much better. It motivated me to actually, dig into reference materials, to anatomy atlases and stuff like that. Got better over time with that. Then 3D rendering helped me understand the nature of materials, reflectivity, subsurface scattering, ambient occlusion, cast shadow, global illumination, direct illumination, rim light, all of that stuff came from studying that. And then I applied those knowledges back to my illustration and comic work. So it's kind of been like a mishmash of different experiences, kind of amalgamated through a lot of intensely motivated work. Because the moment I figured out that the best way to learn is by doing exactly what I want to do, you know, it's like chugging an XP bonus potion, and just whatever you do, you learn it faster. What adjustment did I make to that gouache brush? It's just basic gouache brush. I just kind of fiddle with some with color mixing settings. Sometimes I do full amount of paint at full, sometimes at less. Uh, uh, I added opacity just for when I need it, but that's it. Like, it's pretty default as it is. Do I have any books on how to draw that would recommend for beginners? I'm a big, big, big supporter of literally anything by what's his name? Ah, shit. Come on, brain. It's called Anatomy of Facial Expressions and Anatomy for Sculptors. Those are the books. It should be, if you want, no, it should be. It's available pretty much everywhere, because like that, those books have been mega popular among artists for a very good reason. They were made by artists for artists. They're not, you know, uh, medical anatomical atlases. They're like they're like great ways of actually showing you anatomy, what it looks like and why it looks like that. That's the beautiful part. Like, one of the big things about, for instance, anatomy of facial expression is it will show you like a photo of an expression, then a 3D scan of that expression, and then it's going to show you the anatomy underneath it that actually finally makes it click for you as to what these like little shapes are on the face and why they appear like that during an expression. Excellent books. Like, I can't recommend them enough. They have also anatomy of head and neck, anatomy of arm in motion. So they're constantly building up on it, and I'm basically just hoarding all those books. Those are excellent. I've been using them in my sculpting like crazy. Aldrich Zarns, thank you. Oh yeah, Evil Dead covers. Yeah, I did those. I did a lot of stuff for Dynamite back in the day. I did Evil Dead. I did Battlestar Galactica. I did Red Sonja. I did a bunch of Red Sonja recently. Do I still play Warframe these days? I haven't had the time to play Warframe in the last almost 2 years. I do very much intend to going back to it because I do love the game. It's just at some point I've kind of reached the cap on what with the story and everything else, and then I was like, okay, well, I guess I'm gonna take a pause from it, and just haven't had the time to get back into it, but I will at some point because like it's one of those few games that I genuinely really love. Yeah, recently I've been playing a lot of Don't Starve Together. It's Aldrich Zahn, or no, Zarins. Why do I keep saying Zahn? There's some science fiction author that was Zahn. Let me just look it up. There we go. Let me just copy. Okay, copy. There we go. I'll send you the link to their site. They also have it on Amazon and everything, but honestly, I just tend to buy directly. Here you go. What the fuck? Oh my god, it's really? Oh, fuck off. There we go. Remove all of this. There we go. I love it when I try to copy the link from Google and it's like, oh, here's the link and here's all these fucking additional data that we added to this link for no reason. It's like, now it's 500 symbols long. Great. Fucking dumb. Literally everything got unshitified. Amber. But yeah, those books are, my God, I stand by them 1,000,000%. If I had those books when I was younger, oh my God, right now I would have been an art god. Like, no joke, I would have been like on such a level that it's like, whew, terrifying. I would have been a kind god, but a god nonetheless. Learn to sanitize my links? Please. My links must remain smutty at all times. Yeah, they are that good. I've had every single one of those like anatomy books because like when I was in high school people would just share photocopies because we were in Croatia, so you couldn't afford shit, so we were just kind of like, oh my god, it's like, oh Lumi, so this, so that's like nothing compares to these ones. These ones are refined knowledge and just perfected into just the ultimate way of just kind of explaining to you anatomy and like just making you improve immensely. Did I ever read original Aliens vs Predator by Dark Horse Comics? No, I didn't have access to that. No, I know that's how I cleared up the link. It's just annoying that it's even like does that. Like why? It's like, oh yeah, no, I needed all this. Thank you. It's like fucking stupid. Nothing wrong with my anatomy. Oh, there's still stuff wrong with my anatomy, but it's getting better. Like if I spent my time properly finding references for this stuff and just actually copying it, like it would be very exact and very precise. But like my goal is to be able to just kind of do this off the top of my head and just kind of draw, which I'm already pretty good at. I can get better. Yes, it's good, but it could be better. And yes, I did just do the Pedro Pascal pose. Yeah, 90s were wild. But it got better. Of course. that's what it is by default, It's like it's very fast. It's very fast to at first to improve. When you completely suck, yeah, it's like anything you learn is already a quantum leap. But once you get to a point where it's like, okay, you're very good now, you're trying to get better from that. Now it's getting hard. Now it's now it's such fine tuning and nuance that's just you know on some level that you have improved, but like it's kind of one of those. These are the same picture. The old grudges. Oh god, I just watched a Croatian comedy a few days ago called Svadba. It's basically where a Croatian and a like this Serbian guy and this Croatian girl basically are getting married and their families are just the worst. And I was laughing my ass off. How much better can I realistically expect to get? Quite a bit. There's always room for improvement. Sometimes it's anatomy, sometimes it's composition, illumination, sometimes it's just, the overall mood. It's so good. Težak život. Oh god. Yeah, I watched it with Linda and her mom and dad. We went there just fucking. God damn, everything hurt after that. It's listen. It's just it's one of those things. Nobody is immune to the power of demagogues. Sad but true. Because basically it always comes down to this. Rich and the powerful will point to anybody around and go, those are the people because of whom you're having it hard. You know, they are the ones stealing this, that, or the other from you. It's never the rich people. No, no, no. They got everything fair and square. You know, they're just just they're there because they love you. They love you. They love your country. They love it. It's great. You know, they are flawless. Yeah, that's fucking awesome. My favorite is when they're fucking comparing their diabetes pills. Save. Okay, be back in a second. Need more coffee. Caffeine obtained. Hey, Mikle. Yeah, don't worry. If you ever need a reminder, drop on my stream and I will tell you. Because it's one of those things that we all kind of need to remind ourselves every now and then. It's okay to fail, because that's how you succeed in the end. One failure at a time. Okay, so let's see. I sort of want to do a thing. Cut and paste. Then how about going the psychopath route and paint an only one rare, no one dual out? I mean, yeah, I can do that, but I'm No, it's one of those things that I don't feel like doing anymore. Like, it's one of those kind of like, hey, look at a gimmick I can do, but it's like, what's the point of this? It's like, no undo allowed. Yeah, I can paint over it easily, so it's digital work. So it's, And at this point, I'm just trying to tell my stories. I'm not trying to basically flex art trickery. It's a fun exercise, though. I do recommend it, but like, yeah, generally not really the most productive way to do things because it just kind of gives you anxiety at the end. Yeah, no layers as well. So it's basically, it's like, oh, hey, I made a mistake. Okay, I'm just really quickly opacity to 100, draw over it. Is it a two music only playlist? I don't know, man. I just picked up some fantasy sounding free to use thing, and it's like it's a mix that's 3 hours long. Nobody told me it was gonna be 3 hours long. Two fucking songs. How old did I get into the comic industry? How old was I when I started taking art seriously? I was about, let's say, I was around 16 years old when I really committed to art, and then started just drawing like a maniac. Mostly because my teacher told me I was never gonna be good at it. A lot of it was spite, not gonna lie. And then I got into the comic industry by posting a lot of my work online, only to have it get noticed by an artist at Top Cow at the time, who asked me if I would be able to just kind of paint over some of his drawings just as a test. I'm like, yeah, sure. So I did it. It was like a Vampirella cover that he was doing, and he showed he showed it to Top Cow at the time, and basically they asked me if I could color an entire comic issue like that. I was like, yeah. So I did. It was Darkness Wolverine, and you know, the rest is history. Kind of showed them my own actual artwork that I did. They asked me if I could actually draw comics. I was like, yeah, and I started. So I've already kind of agreed upon something for the audiobook. I've already arranged it with Autumn Ivy. She does excellent voiceover work, and she has experience with reading audiobooks. So win-win. Yeah, it was Tyler Cookham. Yeah, he's a great guy. Her voice acting is insane though. Like there was recently she posted some sample, and I was like, oh wow, this is from just kind of like a live stream of her just kind of. No, she was reading an audiobook. I'm like, fuck. Like holy shit. Like it was 1,000,000% convincing. I was like 100% sure, and then she cut into the narrator mode, and I'm like, wait. Because like I knew that it was great before because like she did a narration of a few pages of fine print, and I was like, wow, that's fucking you nailed it. But like I just kind of thought like, hey, listen, it's one of those things where it's like sometimes people can vibe with the character and just it sounds perfect, but yeah, no, look, she just actually has all of the range. So I'm like, okay, we're cooking. No, Darkness I didn't color. Darkness I painted fully. Like that was all me. Darkness Wolverine was Tyler doing artwork and then me painting over his artwork. So we ended up with this very nice painted look for the book. And yeah, her Boba Fett cosplay is fucking insane. It was a very fun thing to do because his style is nice, has very nice realistic proportions, so it was very easy to paint over it. Because like and plus his shading was never like overly graphic but informative. As in, it's like okay, this is this is where he wants the light and shadow to be. Cool, I can work with that. So I'm gonna do. Okay, I've been doing this for an hour and a half, and now I gotta swap to Batwoman. Where is it? Where is it? Where is it? There it is. Oh, actually, I'm gonna change music for this one. I need some fucking synthwave or something for this. Enough of these two songs. All right, perfect. Second, uh, I hate drawing cars. Same goes with motorcycles. If it's real motorcycles, as in, you know, specific thing that I need to have a specific entire set of references that I have to rely on constantly. Bullshit cars and bullshit motorcycles are my jam. I can make up some bullshit. That's that's the beauty of it. It's like it's a bat cycle. Pfft, of course, I know what a bat cycle looks like. It looks exactly the way I want it to look. If it's something that I can design, we're good. If it's something that I have to constantly reference, that kind of saps my sanity because I hate looking for references. Yeah, guns in general also because like guns is something that people know what they look like. You draw a gun wrong, there's gonna be a gun enthusiast that's gonna be like, the fuck did you just draw there? So if it's bullshit guns that fire lasers and disintegrators, fuck yeah, let me at them. But you give me a fucking standard 9 millimeter or something like that or whatever. Fuck, you know, like uh, it is at that point where Stepan will fucking literally go looking for a place where I can buy a 3D sculpted precise model of a gun just so that I can just rotate the fucker and just kind of draw it. Because I hate it. I hate it. Oh, listen, in Sunstone, look at the cars in Sunstone. Does any of those cars look well defined? Which of the cars in Sunstone were you ever gonna say like, oh yeah, no, this is '86 Mercedes Benz? Like, no, it's just like it's a car. It's like, just blocked in, just a car. It's like what car? A car. But at the end of it all, it really does come down to how important it is. If you're making a comic that relies on you, you know, where the character is like, hey, this is some expert in weaponry that's like grounded, realistic. Yeah, you kind of have to fucking focus on doing that right. Same as like, oh, hey, there's a comic about somebody who's really understands cars and bikes. It's like that's where you hire Sean Gordon Murphy because like fucking hell, nobody can be fucked with doing it that detailed and that precise. Yeah, point is like you either get somebody who's really into it or whoever the fuck is doing it has to actually find a stupid amount of reference material. And that's that's not easy, because finding a specific angle of a specific model that works perfectly for a shot is not easy. This is where comic artists tend to be very grateful for people working in 3D, making perfect replicas of like everyday objects of that variety, cars, bikes, stuff like that. Because it's like finding references for that is insanely annoying. I was just fortunate in my career that I was able to just kind of nope out of any project that kind of required that. I think I've drawn like fucking 10 specific vehicles in my whole life. Everything else has been bullshit. Do I have any idea if the deluxe edition of Sons of Mercy will come out in Italian? No idea. That's very much in the hands of Italian publisher. guessing Panini, but I don't know. That's that unfortunate part where it's like I can only guarantee the ones that are done predominantly through image. Everything else is out of my hands. But yeah, I can easily wake bullshit my way through any kind of a vehicle, as long as it doesn't have to be a specific thing, I can, just design my way out of it, make it look believable. But if I need to actually go looking for references over and over again for a thing that, you know, to me, it becomes a massive mental waste of effort and time. There was actually the funniest shit was when they actually asked me to do a run on Aquaman, and I was like, I don't know, and my editor goes like, so it's gonna take place completely on Atlantis all the time, so it's gonna be just kind of imagine crazy shit for you to design. I'm like, you have my attention. Exactly. And I had to look up for references for that specific bike. I suffered through it, and that bike is gonna make its return later in the series as well, when Laura does. But and then Anne is finally gonna get that ride. I've done far better covers than that, but it was a really good one. It's one of those covers that I actually do like. Actually, generally, most of those Aquaman covers turned out really well. I ended up enjoying working on that book way more than I would have ever imagined. Plus, Dolphin was such a fun character to draw. Plus, generally, just everybody, like the whole underwater combat and everything was so much fun to actually like to go through and draw. At the end of Mercy Arc or something. At the end of Mercy Arc. You actually have foreshadowing of that at the end of Volume 8, where Anne says that, that's not the last time that she sees Laura, and it's gonna be very just 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 incredibly heartwarming. Oh, you'll see. Sunstone is very big on character arcs and character growth, and very few things in that book series are kind of just throwaway things. Even some of the most seemingly unimportant moments have big payoffs at some point. Let alone entire ass relationships. Uh, New volumes are, yeah, coming out, but they are small, like literally smaller prints. So, speaking as somebody who doesn't really have the best eyesight, like depending on the state of your eyes and how small you can read, you know, you can wait for that one. If you don't really have the best eyesight like I do, I would suggest standard editions. I find them much more comfortable to read. But again, I'm old, Gandalf. It's a cover for Batwoman. Yeah, I sketched it out back then, and now I gotta actually finish it. When's it coming out? Not sure. I think the first one with the first cover is either coming out or has already come out. I've kind of lost track of that. I'm basically doing a cover for every issue, so this is uh, this is the fourth cover. You know how it is. DC came and asked, "Hey, we would like you to do a cover for tight red and black outfitted lesbian with red hair," and I was like, I may know something about that, so you know. So I have some experience with the iconography of it all. thing with grungy reimagining of Batman. It's just she has a mask and she paints her skin white. That's kind of her whole shtick. She's uh, she's got that whole vampire vibe going on. Yeah, nah, it's fine. I genuinely admire people who can keep up with all the superhero comics because there's just so much of it. Okay, I think it's time for me to take a break because I'm a little bit hungry and a little bit in need of stretching. So, thank you all for being here. I am gonna be off.